Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's been a long day, so I'll try to put in a couple jokes here and there. I'm the CEO of AgriForce. We have our roots in ag tech and recently pivoted into Bitcoin mining. Why Bitcoin mining? Because that's my background, and also because we were looking for a way to move the company ahead in the fintech space while still maintaining our agriculture roots. So the way we're doing this is by what we call sustainable mining. So we are taking modular Bitcoin mining units and co-locating them with ag tech in the form of modular agricultural growing systems. For instance, our pilot project in our Columbia County, Ohio, is Bitcoin in containers. We then gather the heat and we pipe the heat into our containers that contain rack growing systems. The plan is to grow, for the most part, microgreens, and we'll also be branching out into red algae and then branching from red algae also into white-tailed shrimp. Our COO, who is not here and is the engineer with 2 PhDs in agricultural engineering, can explain that in detail. Why white-tailed shrimp, I have no idea. So we're going on. We have little problem with cutoff people, but you have myself, you have our chairman, you have our COO over in the corner over there, and basically looking at where we were in January, we are a bargain. If you're looking to do a stock that's in Bitcoin mining and you want something that, in my personal opinion, is very undervalued, that would be AgriForce. So basically where we are now and some data on us. We basically are mining in two places right now. We're mining in Alberta and we're mining in Ohio. Why this is important? We do not have to use immersion cooling. So our systems do not overheat. They run 24/7, 12 months a year. Very, very sustainable. We're off the grid, so we don't have any issues with systems going down, looking at whether or not the grid needs to be used for the purpose of cooling people's houses. We are going 12 months a year. We've been using S19J Pro miners. That's what we bought when we had the sites. We're in the process of upgrading all of this to the latest and greatest. But what's really interesting is that by using this modular design, we have the miners racked in shipping containers. We can move the miners wherever we want. If we have another site that is better suited for the miners that we have, we just unplug, we move it, and we plug it back in. It can be done in a day. So very, very flexible. We're also able, because of this, to take advantage of the low price stranded natural gas, which is how at this point we're powering all of this. So very advantageous, works very well, and it means that we can go into various areas where we think we can get the best bang for our buck at any one time. The other interesting thing is that in Alberta, we have the ability to grow. There's lots of stranded natural gas near us, and we're able to go in because of that and really take advantage of local conditions. And what's interesting is because we're piping the heat out from the miners and we're co-locating very closely with the agriculture in some, I lost my feed. Oh, there it is. In some places, we're separating the mining containers from the agriculture by 20 or 30 feet. So we're not losing, we're capturing all the heat. Everything works in a very coordinated fashion. So we're very excited about that. Our Bold Eagle project in Ohio, same thing on a little larger scale. We're currently up to a total of about 1,200 miners, working really well. We're profitable at this point on a site-by-site basis. So we're very excited about that as well, first for the company. So let's talk about the indoor farming market, because this is the interesting part. This is what sets AgriForce apart from all of our competitors. If you look at indoor farming, where we are today, you can see the market values. Basically, we're showing almost $15 billion available through the in the U.S. That's pretty exciting. A lot of it is floriculture. A lot of it is also nursery stock crops. We'd be focusing mostly, as I said, on the red algae and on the microgreens. The microgreens are great because you harvest them. The turnaround life cycle of microgreens is usually about a week. So you can rinse, repeat, and actually generate real revenue on this, which is great. We're also looking at the whitetail shrimp. I don't have any data on that up here, but it's very exciting. We can do this in greenhouses, shipping containers, anything inside. We can, if we have a big data center, we can portion up part of the data center, insulate it, and grow the crops in there as well. So that's really exciting for us. Colocation, as we say, is the key to success. You're taking the heat and the CO2 and you're regenerating it through the indoor container form. You're offsetting emissions. You're leading to year-round cultivation. So by doing this, we're creating a second sustainable, continuous revenue source. And that's very important for us. The key for us is revenue generation at this point, and that's what we're really focused on for our shareholders. We have a history in greenhouse design. We have patents in various greenhouse designs from earlier in our history. We're looking to use those right now. The shipping container model is much more cost efficient. And again, we look at to do everything in a simple manner. So the container farms are plug and play, just like our miners are plug and play. So we want to keep everything simple. The simpler the business model, the better we like it. So that's where we are. We can use the excess carbon dioxide as well to enrich the facility and boost production. When you do this in places where energy is inexpensive, again, we don't really use much electricity. We need to run some computers and a few fans. Other than that, we are powering these agricultural facilities solely from the heat that's coming off of the mining. So that's very exciting to us. Can these yields justify the higher capex infrastructure? We think it does. Obviously you have a gradient here. The cheapest is conventional farming, right? You're doing it outside, you're dependent on natural sunlight, etc. The most expensive is the indoor vertical agriculture, which is what we're looking to do basically. You rack trays or you do vertical farming, same concept all inside. The interesting thing is that even though our infrastructure cost is much higher, the yield is a lot higher, the capex costs are high, but we also are able to deal with something. We don't use any water. There's a very low water footprint as well. So this can be done in all sorts of climates. So we think it's a great model. And the market size in 2023 was about $7 billion. So as you can see, there's demand for this. So basically, if you want to look at indoor agriculture, you can look at the dollars per pound, right? You compare apples to apples. How many dollars per pound of yield if we're dealing with indoor agriculture versus conventional farming? Well, I'll move over here for a minute. The numbers are pretty clear, right? Revenue of about $7.80 a pound versus leafy greens of 50 cents a pound. That's pretty incredible. So it justifies the higher costs. Um, and again, we went over this page. I don't know why I did that. We also have another business venture, which is kind of interesting because it goes hand in hand with the indoor agriculture. And this is our Radical Clean Solutions. Basically, these are air sanitizing devices. They emit hydroxyl radicals into the air. They bind with molds and other pathogens and neutralize them. So the really exciting thing about that is, whereas moist indoor environments where you don't have proper ventilation can grow a lot of mold, we're able to avoid that by putting in these devices, which are not expensive. And these devices are proven to work. We're using them in the Caribbean, in hotel rooms and buildings with moist environments with sick building syndrome, which is, pretty bad molds where the schools and the offices, etc., can't be used anymore. They're not safe for humans. And we come in with these devices and we can purify the air and then we can keep it clean. So that's also something that goes and dovetails in with what we do. So these are the various units. Um, and that's really our presentation. Our highlights are what they are. We do very well with our IP portfolio. We have the M&A strategy on the growth side, basically picking up stranded natural gas and other low-cost energy and racking miners, and then co-locating the agricultural systems. So that's our presentation for today. Does anybody have any questions? No questions? Okay. Oh, you do? So hydroponics is something else we've looked at. The hydroponics is interesting. The problem with the hydroponics is that if you're going up into colder climates, such as in Alberta, where the weather is very, very, very cold, especially in the winter, to keep it heated, it's a bigger area. A hydroponics is a bigger surface area than the vertical farming. So it's doable, but that would be something we'd look at in warmer climates. So you're saying, could we use the water from the fish farm to circulate? That is possible. That is possible, but again, that is something that our chairman of our board has a lot of experience in aquaculture, as does our chief operating officer. So that's a discussion we have ongoing, but that's probably something we'll look at next year.
Awesome. Wow, it's really loud on the side.
Yeah.
You guys give it up for our lovely speaker, Jolie. Thank you, Jolie.
Thank you, everyone.